Welcome to Animal Farm Africa, your gateway to the captivating world of African animal farming. If you're passionate about the rich tapestry of wildlife and agriculture in Africa, or simply curious about the unique challenges and opportunities of farming on this incredible continent, you're in for a wild adventure. In this video, we're embarking on an unforgettable journey to uncover the hidden gems and untold stories of animal farming in Africa. From the majestic landscapes to the diverse animal species, we're diving deep into the heart of this enchanting continent. And in today's episode, we're going to unravel the mysteries of poultry farming like never before. Join us as we explore Uncover the Secrets of Poultry Farming, 19 Pros and Cons Exposed. It's an eye-opening exploration that promises to change the way you view poultry farming forever. Stay tuned as we share awe-inspiring tales, conservation efforts, and the extraordinary people who dedicate their lives to the sustainable coexistence of animals and farming. Whether you're an animal lover, a future farmer, or just seeking inspiration, you won't want to miss a moment. So, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to join us on this extraordinary expedition. From the savannas to the jungles, from the tiniest creatures to the mightiest, Animal Farm Africa is your window into the extraordinary world of animal farming in Africa. Let's dive right in. We've got an exciting countdown of the top 10 marvelous advantages that make poultry farming a real co-op d'etat. Advantage number 10, and it's a big one. Poultry farming isn't just about chickens. We're talking turkeys, geese, ducks, and even some crafty farmers who harvest feathers for stuffing. If you're not into the idea of chicken dinners, there are plenty of exciting options in the world of poultry farming. Now let's hatch advantage number 9. You don't need a golden nest egg to become a poultry farmer. With just a modest investment, you can get started. In fact, you can start a small-scale operation for less than $5,000. Some families even kick off their poultry farm with just $1,000 or even less. Advantage number 8. Space isn't a hassle. You won't need acres of land unless you're going big. Many households start with just a few chickens in their backyard. All you need is a coop, a heat lamp, and a kiddie pool for the chicks to swim in. And, of course, some comfy bedding. Now here's where it gets exciting. Poultry farming can be immediately lucrative. If you decide to go commercial, you can reap the rewards. Some birds, like broiler chickens, mature in just a couple of months, allowing you to raise multiple crops in a year. That's number 7, immediate profitability. Advantage number 6, easy peasy maintenance. A poultry farm doesn't require an excessive amount of upkeep, especially for family operations. Just follow the guidelines for hygiene and you'll keep your birds healthy and disease-free. Opt for low-risk birds like turkeys and quail to make life even simpler. But wait, before you get started, there's a claw-sum detail to remember. You might not need a special import-export license, but you'll probably need a business license. And if you want your poultry items to be certified as organic, expect a few extra regulations. Advantage number 5, hungry for success. Poultry products have an immediate demand. People love homegrown poultry, and there's a growing desire to know where their food comes from. You're not just offering food, you're offering peace of mind. Now for advantage number 4, it's a family affair. Poultry farming is often a family business, teaching responsibility from an early age. Your kids can get involved, from collecting eggs to helping with the animals. You can even hire people from your community, and the workload is minimal. And here's a clucking good fact for advantage number 3. Banks love poultry farmers. They're eager to support this segment of the agricultural industry because it can be immediately profitable. Advantage number 2. It's an excellent lesson in responsibility. Poultry farming is one of the easiest ways to enter agriculture. It's low stress, easy to manage, and even if you want to take a break, finding people to help isn't a hassle. And finally, advantage number 1, the variety of poultry options. It's not just about chickens, it's a world of possibilities, from turkeys to ducks and more. Having looked at the advantages, let's get to the disadvantages or cons. 1. You still need to have capital in place to start a poultry farm in the first place. If you want to begin a large-scale commercial operation for your poultry farm, then you are going to need about $250,000 available that you can use to build structures, purchase chicks, hire help, and secure whatever licensing you may require. Then there are the processing costs to consider before you can start selling your first birds. That is why most poultry farmers start with a family operation. If you start raising poultry in your backyard, then the cost per bird typically ranges from $3 to $30 over the lifetime of the animal. You will need to add a coop of some type, which might not cost anything if you build it yourself, but it could also run between $500 to $2,000 depending on the features you want. The cost for feed is about $15 per month for 3.6 birds, while your other costs are about $10 per month. 2. It is possible to lose an entire batch of chicks with poultry disease. Although the diseases that spread through poultry are typically easy to manage, you do not have any control over this process until the chicks or birds are in your possession. There are 6 common health problems in chickens, for example, that you can resolve by improving their overall nutrition. Fowl cholera, coccidiosis, avian flu, fowl pox, Newcastle disease, and salmonellosis will happen at some point during your time as a poultry farmer. If you know how to respond and offer the correct nutritional content in the feed of your birds, then managing this issue isn't as much of a disadvantage as it could be. 3. There is a slight risk of bird-to-human transmission of the avian flu. The avian flu strain that the World Health Organization is concerned about is called H5N1. It is a highly infectious and severe respiratory disease that is found in birds. Transmission from an infected bird to a human is difficult, but not impossible to achieve. Even spreading it from human to human after receiving the virus from an animal is a rare occurrence. The mortality rate for this strain when it spreads to people is consistently around 60%. If you are running a backyard operation, this risk of this disadvantage of poultry farming is virtually zero. 4. Some birds do not excel in some environmental conditions. You can theoretically start a poultry farm almost anywhere on the planet. The problem that you face is when the weather becomes too hot or cold for the birds that you intend to raise. There can be health issues with some species when there is too much or too little humidity in the air as well. Before you decide to begin operations, it is a good idea to look at the optimal conditions for each species that you want to raise. Some birds, such as geese and turkeys, can thrive in a variety of conditions without much care beyond access to food and water. If you want to raise broiler chickens for profit, then you may need to install specific resources on your property to support those activities. Most farms work the best when the poultry and the environment work together for a successful result. 5. There are zoning issues that you may need to follow before starting your farm. If you work with a processor for your poultry, and most jurisdictions require that you do so unless you are licensed as a butcher, slaughterhouse, or processor, then you must provide evidence that your farm meets all of the current zoning and licensing regulations for your geographic area. Purdue Farms specifically states that they require farmers who raise poultry to adhere to all federal, state, and local regulations that involve their work. That includes zoning requirements and environmental stipulations that might be present. There may also be a set of best practices that you are asked to follow as part of your operations. If you do not provide evidence that you are in compliance or you fail an inspection, then you can lose your potential for profit just as quickly as you created it. 6. You must provide your birds with adequate feed to be successful. Even if your goal is to raise free-range birds that are largely self-sustaining, you must provide supplemental feed that supports the natural growth of the animal. The amount of feed that is necessary to negate this disadvantage depends on what you decide to raise. Some chickens can eat up to 0.25 pounds of food each day. Layer hens require more than this, while broilers might eat between 0.6 to 1 pound to support their development. Geese, turkey, ducks, and other poultry species have their own unique feed requirements to consider as well. If you do not provide food that contains calcium, vitamin D, and other essential minerals, then the quality of the meat or eggs that you produce may not reach the required minimum standards for sale. 7. Poultry farming requires the presence of non-acidic clean water. You must have the quality of your water tested periodically if you decide to start a poultry farm, even if you live in the suburbs and use tap water for this need. When the acid levels are too high, then there are multiple negative impacts that can affect the livelihood of the birds. Poultry must have access to drinking water that is colorless, odorless, clear, and tasteless to be beneficial to the farming process. If you have cloudy water, then there may be clay or silt that could create adverse effects on your flock. Red coloration in the water can indicate an excessive level of iron. Blue coloration indicates the process of copper, while a rotten egg smell is evidence that hydrogen sulfide is present. Even if there are salts in the water, the poultry may find the liquid to be bitter and refuse to drink it. 8. There is the issue of antibiotic use to consider with poultry farming. Because bacterial disease can quickly sweep through large-scale commercial farms, it is not unusual to treat the birds with antibiotics to ensure that they stay healthy. Some farmers even resort to the proactive use of these drugs to minimize the impact of poor health on their profit margin. Not only does over-medication impact the quality of the meat, but it might also be an unreliable option if farmers try to purchase these items outside of their veterinarian. Humans that eat chicken meat that consume regular antibiotics are at a higher risk of developing antibiotic-resistant gastrointestinal infections. There is the potential for more urinary tract infections as well. Even if you have an illness in your flock, the concerns with drug use are so high with processors that any antibiotic use might prevent you from being able to send your birds to market. 9. It can still be a lot of hard work for your family. If you are only managing a handful of chickens, then this disadvantage may not apply to you. When you start working with a couple dozen birds, you might find that nighttime predators start to scope out your property. The presence of coyotes, wild dogs, opossums, raccoons, and others could create additional safety risks for your family. There will also be more rodents around your property as mice and rats steal any leftover feed that you leave out. You must be proactive in managing this issue to prevent loss. As we wrap up our clucking good journey through the marvelous advantages of poultry farming, it's essential to remember that, like all things in life, it's all about finding the perfect balance. The advantages and disadvantages of poultry farming must weigh the demands of work, time, and cost against the potential for profit. For some, the satisfaction of being self-sufficient with homegrown food products outweighs any monetary profits. From a commercial perspective, poultry farming presents risks and rewards, just like any other business venture. Many folks discover that raising chickens, ducks, geese, and other poultry is more than just a source of income. It's a fun and relaxing experience. The minimal chores involved are dwarfed by the remarkable benefits you can achieve. So, whether you're considering diving into a commercial poultry operation or starting a small family-friendly backyard farm, remember that the key to success lies in finding that sweet spot where advantages outweigh disadvantages. It's about achieving a sense of balance that brings joy and satisfaction to your life, clucking in harmony with your goals. Thank you for joining us on this feathered adventure through the world of poultry farming. We'll be back with more insightful stories, tips, and adventures. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to stay updated with all things feathered and fabulous on Animal Farm Africa. Until next time, may your coop be full, your eggs be plentiful, and your feathers fly high.